just wanted to hear a little bit from you guys. And so Lauren Grover's still not on, right? Lauren, you're not here? All right, too bad. Okay. All right, so you guys, today, hopefully you guys all have your notebooks with you. Today, my friend Ashleigh put together a PowerPoint presentation to dive a little bit deeper into some of the stuff that we've been talking about. So kind of along the lines of that really short, like 2-minute clip that I showed you guys last week, but extended, okay, and a little bit more detail, and it's really, really good stuff. And then she's going to hop on for the last 10 minutes of the call, and any questions that you guys have, you guys can direct them right to her. Okay. Yeah. So again, like I said, she's a nurse, and, you know, she's been doing this for a while. So it's really nice that we get the opportunity to hear from her, from a healthcare professional, and just gain some more knowledge about our bodies and how we can get them working the way we want them to. Okay, so let me know. So make sure you have your notebook. Make sure you're taking notes. Make sure if there's any areas where you're kind of like, I have a question about this. Write it down so at the end you can ask questions. Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you can see. Oops, see Daisy.
Brittney.
Yes.
I think Lauren's joining on right now. So.
Well, too bad, Lauren. We are 7 minutes in. So now you can't hear.
I was using the wrong code. Sorry.
Dang it, Lauren. I wanted you to share, but I shared your picture with everyone. So
it's okay.
It's okay. Next time I'll have you share something. All right. Can everybody see this? Can everybody see my screen? Yeah. All right, cool. Okay. So here we go. Here's her presentation, and then we will chat after.
Hi guys, my name is Ashleigh Moore, and I'm a registered nurse here to talk to you guys today about the importance of whole food nutrition. Just to give you guys a little bit of my background, I have a bachelor's degree in biochemistry, as well as a bachelor's degree in nursing, and I've worked in the emergency room for about 2.5 years now, and almost done with my master's in nursing. So hopefully by the end of this year, I'll be a family nurse practitioner as well. And I have quite a bit of experience as an athlete as well. I was a former Division I athlete. I ran cross country and track all through junior high, high school, and then into college, where I got a scholarship and ran at the NCAA Division I level for 4 years. So I totally get where you guys are at right now, balancing school and balancing athletics and friends, and maybe some of you even have jobs. And so now today I'm going to try to add one more thing to your plate, so to speak. I'm going to talk to you about how to eat properly, how to fuel your body properly with whole foods. And when I say whole foods, I just want to clarify that right now. I'm talking about foods that are really from their natural source. They're not from a package. They're not from a box. They're not processed. Things like fruits and veggies and beans and things that are really from nature. And I want to kind of go into the science behind why that's important today. So I'm kind of a big science nerd. I love science. I've been studying it for quite a while now. So I'm going to try to explain the science behind why you guys should be eating whole food nutrition. So we're going to start with this word of advice, and that is to question everything. So what do I mean by that? As young women and as athletes, you guys, for pretty much your entire lives, are going to be bombarded with people trying to give you advice. They're going to be recommending all kinds of crazy diets and supplements and teas and you name it. People will try to market it to you and sell it to you as something you should be doing to keep you healthy or to make you feel a certain way or to look a certain way. But what I want to do for you guys today is instill within you the skepticism of a scientist. And what do I mean by that? In science and in medicine, we are taught to question everything. Before we do anything for our patients, we are really taught to look at research and look at the proof and the quality of the research and the quality of the proof this person is presenting to us, and what credentials they have to even be offering this advice to us. And it's the same thing with nutrition. What we eat can affect us so intimately that we really have to start paying attention to what we are putting into our bodies. And I'm going to explain to you in just a bit and just how much it affects us with what we choose to put into our bodies. And through this presentation today, I'm going to do my best to explain to you guys why I'm making the recommendations I'm making, and really get you guys to a place of true understanding of why it's so important to eat whole food nutrition. Because I feel like when we truly understand things, we are more likely to make it habits and lifestyles for ourselves. Nobody likes to be told to do something, especially if they don't even understand why they're doing it. So I'm going to try to really explain myself today with everything that I'm recommending to you. And so it's all about this. I could probably stop the presentation here and just tell you that it's not about calories. It's all about nutrients, because that's really the main heart of the lesson today. That it's really all about the nutrients within our food. So my goals for today are for you to understand this, and my goals for you today are to be able to recognize foods that are really packed with nutrients so that you can feel confident about the choices you're making. And one thing I'm not going to talk to you guys today about is dieting. We're not going to talk about any diets. We're not going to talk about counting calories. That is not the focus of today, and it's not the focus I want for you guys any day, really. And another thing you guys might pick up on today is that I'm not going to really talk about protein, which is kind of strange because athletes love to hear about protein. It's like their favorite thing to eat and talk about. But we are not a society that's deficient in protein. We are a society that's deficient in eating really good quality carbohydrates, and we are definitely all deficient in eating enough fruits and vegetables. Pretty much almost the entire population in our country does not eat enough fruits and vegetables. So that is one thing I'm really going to talk to you a lot about today. So keep this in mind. It's not about calories. It's all about nutrients. So I told you guys I love science. So I'm going to get really scientific with you. So bear with me. I'm not going to make it too complex. I'm going to try to explain it in the simplest ways that I can, but to really still send the message home to you guys. So I'm going to start all the way down to cells. And some of you guys may have already had biology and science courses where you talked about cells. But healthy cells equal a healthy you. And what does that mean? You guys may not know this, but you are made of about 30 trillion cells. You're basically just one big bag of walking cells. It's kind of weird to think about. And within each and every one of those cells is something you guys have probably heard of, which is DNA. So I like to think of DNA as the recipe book that makes you, you. And it's the recipe book that tells your cells exactly what to do and exactly how to function to keep you alive and keep you healthy. And when this recipe book gets damaged or something happens to it, it can act in such a way that it tells our cells to do things that are really unhealthy for us. It can tell our cells to turn into cancer or heart disease, or act in such a way that we can't fight off disease appropriately or illness, and can make us sick. So, and I'm going to tell you a new concept. It's probably a new concept for all of you, but the food that you eat actually can interact with your DNA. It can interact with that recipe book that's inside of your cells. And it can either tell it to do things that promote health and keep you healthy and strong, or the food you eat can actually interact with your DNA in such a way that it tells your cells to do unhealthy things. So I don't say this to scare you guys. I don't want you to think that if you choose to eat candy or treat yourself with something that it's going to go in your body and change your DNA and make you unhealthy. That's not at all what I'm trying to tell you guys. What I am trying to say that when you it's a lifetime of making these choices about what to eat that really affects your DNA and affects the health of your cells. And if you have unhealthy cells, then there's really no way you can function and be healthy. So we want to fuel our bodies with nutrients that can go inside of our cells and protect our DNA and keep us healthy and keep us really operating at peak performance. So we tend to think of food as something that just goes in one way and out the other. So I want you guys to really start thinking about how the food you eat doesn't just go in and out, but it works and acts in your body in a really dynamic way and affects you all the way down to those little cells that make up your body. So the first thing we're going to talk about with nutrition is carbohydrates. And carbohydrates can have a bad rap. A lot of people like to think of carbohydrates as cakes and cookies and crackers and all those things that maybe aren't the most healthy, which is true to a degree, but carbohydrates are actually really important for your health and for your nutrition. And as developing young women, you guys should be getting half of your daily calories from carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are your energy. I want you to think of them like gasoline to a car. Carbohydrates are the gasoline to fuel your cells. When you guys eat foods that are rich in carbohydrates, your body takes them and breaks them down into something called glucose. And that glucose goes into all of your cells and powers them and gives you energy. So it gives you the energy to run and jump and even the most simplest things like breathing. Carbohydrates give us the energy to do that. So they're really important, and it's really important to make sure you guys are getting enough of them. It's recommended for you guys, depending on your age and your weight, to get about 6 to 11 servings per day of carbohydrates, which is a lot. But it's important to make sure that when you're choosing what carbohydrates to eat, you guys are choosing quality carbohydrates. So what do I mean by quality carbohydrates? Well, the first thing you guys can eat when you're choosing to pick what carbohydrates you're going to eat is you can choose fruits and vegetables, which we often don't think about as being carbohydrates, but there's a lot of fruits and vegetables that are really rich in carbohydrates. So things like bananas and apples and sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are full of really good carbs. These are all foods that are rich in carbohydrates. But when you eat carbs from this source, you're not just getting straight carbohydrates. You're getting so many other nutrients that are packed into these foods. So they're a great way to get carbohydrates. Other things like nuts and beans and legumes, other whole foods like that. You can get your servings of carbohydrates in, and in addition to that, you get all of the other nutrients that are packed into these foods. So those are some really great foods. Fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, lentils are all great sources of carbohydrates that, in addition to that, have a lot of other nutrition in them. Another thing is whole grains. So we hear the words whole grain a lot, but I think most of the time we don't really know what that means. So I just want to explain for anyone who doesn't understand exactly what we say when we say whole grain. But a whole grain is composed of 3 things. So I put the picture here on the slide, and it's the bran, the endosperm, and the germ. Those 3 things comprise what we call a whole grain. And it's really important because the bran and the germ are packed with all kinds of other vitamins, B vitamins, minerals, lots of fiber, healthy fats, and something called phytochemicals, which we're going to talk about on the next slide. And on the other hand, things that are refined grains, now those are our cakes and our cookies and our crackers. Those are things that are composed of refined grains. They only contain the endosperm. So they are really a lot of starch and empty calories. they're missing that bran and they're missing that germ. So they're missing all of those vitamins and those nutrients that would come if you chose to eat whole grains instead. So it's really important that you guys, when you're choosing grains to eat, you're looking at things that have whole grains because they're a great source of carbohydrates and they have all kinds of other nutrients packed into them. So again, just want to reiterate, make sure you guys are getting half of your calories from carbohydrates because carbohydrates are your fuel. They're your gasoline for your cells, your energy. And when you choose carbohydrates, try to choose ones that are really packed with other nutrients. So fruits, vegetables, beans, and foods that are made with whole grains. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is phytochemicals. And I told you guys I'm a big science nerd, and phytochemicals are one of my favorite things to talk about. I love reading and studying about phytochemicals. So what are they? Well, they're literally pronounced phytochemicals, which I love because they have the power to actually fight off disease. There's over 5,000 kinds, and phytochemicals are exclusively found in plant-based foods. So fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, those types of foods are filled with phytochemicals. And we have a very large growing body of research that shows how different phytochemicals actually can fight off disease and protect ourselves. We have amazing things that research that we've seen where phytochemicals can stop cancer from forming, can prevent cancer from even forming, can reverse aging and different kinds of disease and illness. So they are so important for our health. And it's really a new emerging field of research. So we're still learning a lot about them. But one thing we know for sure through research is that people who eat mostly plant-based foods and get lots of phytochemicals into their system live longer and have less illness. They have less cancer, they have less heart disease, they have less diabetes, and less aging to their cells. So they're really, really amazing things. And it's kind of cool because phytochemicals are actually what give the color to our different fruits and vegetables. So there's over 5,000 kinds. And when you eat foods from different colors, you get different phytochemicals into your diet. And we've actually seen that the more varieties you eat, the more they actually work together and complement each other and actually help each other work better to keep you healthy. Many of them also act as antioxidants. And I know you guys watched a video last week about free radicals. And free radicals are one of those things that can damage your DNA and damage your cells and tell them to do really unhealthy things. And phytochemicals actually go inside of your cells and they clear out these free radicals and stop them from harming your DNA and harming your cells. So they're amazing things. And anytime you guys eat fruits and vegetables, you guys are eating lots of phytochemicals. Anytime you're drinking good teas, like green tea is full of antioxidants and phytochemicals. Really, the more you can get into your diet, the better. The baseline recommendation for you guys is to eat at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. But really, the more you guys can get into your diet, the better and the healthier you guys will be. So phytochemicals. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is iron. Now, iron's not as exciting to talk about as carbohydrates and phytochemicals, but it's a really important thing for you guys as women and as athletes, because iron deficiency anemia is a really common problem among young women. And what anemia is, for anyone who may not be familiar with it, it's when your body doesn't have the nutrients it needs to make enough red blood cells. And when you don't have enough red blood cells, you don't have enough oxygen. So you have a lot of really overwhelming symptoms. that can make you really not feel good. So as young athletes, you guys need even more iron than most people would need in their diets, just because you're working so hard and exerting so much energy. So it's really important to make sure that you guys know the symptoms of anemia and that you guys are being proactive and really making sure you're eating enough whole foods that contain iron. So the best absorbed, I know today is mostly about plant foods and whole foods, but the best absorbed sources of iron are meats and seafood. Your body really can break those down and get a lot of iron out of those. So if you are a meat and seafood eater, just know that you're going to get a lot of iron in when you choose to eat those foods. But other great sources of iron are beans and lentils, leafy green veggies like spinach. It's a really great thing to make salads, or to just take a handful of spinach or something and throw it into your smoothies, because you'll get extra iron into your diet that way. And I put a little happy face next to it because this makes me happy. That dark chocolate cacao is a really great source of iron. So if you guys are looking for a treat but you want to be healthy, dark chocolate has a lot of antioxidants actually, and it's a great source of iron. So, and when you eat foods that are rich in iron, it's great to eat an orange or some type of citrus fruit, or even a glass of orange juice along with it, because citrus helps us really break down the food and absorb the iron better. So citrus and iron-rich foods go great together as far as your body is concerned. And I want to point out the symptoms of iron deficiency anemia, just because, like I said, it's very common in young women athletes, especially around the time you start your menstrual cycle. You're losing a lot of nutrients that way, and so you want to make sure you're really replenishing, especially for those of us that have started our menstrual cycles. So the common symptoms of iron deficiency anemia are fatigue and tiredness, feeling short of breath, having a depressed mood, actually, changes to your hair, changes to your nails, feeling cold all the time, and getting headaches. So if you guys have any of these types of symptoms, or at some point in your life you start to feel these symptoms, make sure you go and talk to your doctor and ask for a blood test so that they can see and check for anemia. And if you guys don't have any of these symptoms and you guys have normal blood tests, you don't need to supplement with iron. It's really best to get it from your diet, because when you get iron from your diet, especially from these sources of beans and veggies and meats, you're getting all the other nutrition with that. So you're not just getting iron by itself, but you're getting all the other nutrients that are packed into these foods along with the iron. So, and in case any of you guys are experiencing any symptoms like this, I have a link here from the National Institutes of Health on different types of iron-rich foods and how much iron is contained in them. So if anybody's struggling with iron deficiency anemia and looking for more iron-rich foods, I really recommend this site here from the National Institutes of Health to try to plan out how to get more iron-rich foods into your diet. I said we're not going to be counting calories or counting anything today, but if I had to recommend you guys count one thing, it would be the amount of sugar that you guys eat in one day. And a lot of us eat a lot of sugar, and we actually don't even know we're doing it, because companies sneak sugar into almost everything that we have and that we consume. And it's astounding when you really start to pay attention to it, how much sugar is in our diet. Now, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that young girls, children, only get 25 grams of sugar per day. And you would be surprised at how quickly you meet those grams of sugar based on what you're already eating, and even may think that you're eating healthy. So if I had to challenge you guys to count one thing, it would be sugar. So I put a copy of a nutrition label on here, and I want you guys to just start making a habit of scrolling down when you pick up a food that you think may be healthy and looking at the amount of sugar in it. keeping in mind that we really should only be taking in 25 grams of sugar per day. I want you guys to just start being cognizant of how many grams of sugar are in the foods that we eat, because a lot of things that are marketed as being healthy, like granola bars and things like that, actually have a lot of sugar, which really takes their nutritional value down. So just for reference, keeping in mind that we're supposed to have 25 grams a day, a Snickers bar has 27 grams of sugar. A 1 can of Coke has 39 grams of sugar. And a grande caramel frappuccino, for those of you who like Starbucks like I do, has 55 grams of sugar. So there's so much sugar in everything that we eat. Even bread and things like almond milk and all of that, you really have to be cognizant and try to make sure you're choosing things that are unsweetened. And it has nothing to do with the amount of calories or anything like that. But sugar really, really affects our health, and it really does a disservice to our bodies. It can act in such a way with our cells that it makes us more prone to getting sick and makes us less able to even fight off illnesses that we come in contact with. So it's a really great idea to limit sugar and just try to replace sugar-filled foods, processed foods, with foods that are whole foods. Because as we talked about today, those whole foods are really filled with all the other nutrients that we need and that are good for us. So we went over a lot of information today. So I just kind of want to condense all of my recommendations into one slide and just kind of go over everything and let it really sink in for you guys. So my first point I want to make is to never, ever cut calories or diet. It's really important at your guys' age. I know you guys are preteens all the way up to adolescent age. It's really important that you guys never deprive yourselves of food or nutrients. You should never be thinking of yourself as being on a diet. Instead, what I want you guys to do is always choose really healthy, nutritious foods for yourselves. That's really what it's all about, is feeding your body with healthy, whole foods. The next thing is to make sure you guys are getting half of your daily calories from good quality carbohydrates. So we said that carbohydrates should be about half of your daily calories, and you guys should be choosing foods like fruits and vegetables, things like sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, and things that are comprised of whole grains when you're looking for carbohydrates to eat. Because those foods, in addition to having the carbohydrates, have a lot of other really nutritious properties to them as well. The next thing is to eat the rainbow. So eat as many fruits and vegetables as you can. The recommendation is at least 5, but eat as many as you can and eat all different colors, because when you eat different colors of fruits and vegetables, you're getting different phytochemicals. And we know from research that people who eat more phytochemicals, more fruits and vegetables, are healthier, live longer, and have less illness and disease. So it's really important to make sure you guys are eating whole foods and plant-based foods so that you're getting in these great phytochemicals. It really fuels your cells and protects your cells and protects your body. The next thing is to limit added sugar in processed foods, because really added sugar in processed foods have the exact opposite effect for your cells and for your health. They can make you more prone to having illnesses like cancer and heart disease, diabetes, and so it's really important to make sure you guys are looking at the nutrition labels and just being cognizant of the amount of sugar you are putting into your body every day. And remember, the recommendation is no more than 25 grams of sugar a day. So just start being cognizant of that when you guys are looking at snacks and things like that. And the last thing is to really start thinking of food in terms of how it affects your body. That's what I really want to do to put this all together, is to just drive that point home. That food is fuel for your cells, and consequently, it's fuel for your body. So we can either put things in that can wreak havoc within ourselves and wreak havoc within our bodies, or we can put things in that promote health and protect us and protect our DNA and our cells and make it more likely for us to be able to fight off disease and illness. So I know Brittney's going to be giving you guys lots of great recipes and lots of great tips on different foods that you guys can eat. And she's going to really emphasize whole foods and nutrition for you guys. So I hope that you guys understand a little bit more about how food is not just something that goes in through your mouth and out the other end. It's something that really interacts with your body in a very dynamic way. And so it's all about making it a lifestyle, and it's all about taking this information with you for your whole life, really, and trying to make sure that you're packing as much whole food into your bodies as you can. Because I want you guys to be healthy, and I want you guys to be successful athletes. And this is really something that a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people don't tend to think of food in this way. But when you really start thinking of food in terms of how it affects your entire body and your health going forward into your lives, I think it really makes it a lot easier for you guys to really want to start choosing healthy options. So I have to add my references in here. A lot of great websites if you guys are looking for tips on nutrition. And I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. So thank you guys, and good luck with everything.
Cool. Okay. Did we take lots of notes? Did we get a ton of information? How many of you guys were able to mentally stay with it the whole time? Nobody's hands are up. Kind of, sort of. Okay, good. Well, there was a lot of information there. So hang on, let me check the chat really quick. 17, UA has a team meeting at 8:30. Some will have to be leaving soon. Okay. Oh no, so you probably already left. It's 8:38 right now. Does the 25 gram? Okay, cool. So Ashleigh can go ahead and answer this question right now. Ashleigh is on live right now with us. So Ashleigh, do you see that first question in the chat?
Let me see. Hi, guys. So does 25 grams include natural sugars from fruit? So no, it does not. It's actually just added sugars. So sugars that we add in to packaged foods and other foods. The reason is because there's so much nutrients and so many good things like the phytochemicals we talked about in fruits that the amount of sugar is really negligible compared to all of the nutrients you get out of fruit. So no, it does not include that.
Cool. Awesome. Does anybody else have any other questions, either based off of the presentation that we just saw that Ashleigh gave, or just any questions maybe that you have, in this past week? I know everybody's really been working to make small improvements. Are there any questions on things that we've talked about in the past? You have a nurse here with you, so.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, so where are you? Oh my God. Okay, Brooke, go for it.
Yeah. So about the iron deficiency, so it kind of runs in my family because my two brothers have it, and they take pills for it, whatever that is, like an iron pill or something. I really don't like blood tests. So you said that it's you said that you don't need to take the pill. You could just fill it in with whatever fruits are good, for iron deficiency. So do you think other than that, it's necessary to go get a blood test? Is it bad for your health not to?
So if you're having symptoms, any of the symptoms I listed on there, you definitely want to get a blood test. And do you remember the last time you had one? How old you were?
Maybe 10. I don't know.
That's been a really long time. Are you having any of those symptoms? Fatigue?
Yeah, when I get up, I'm like lightheaded a lot. Like it takes me a second to like not
So
be.
that could either be from being dehydrated, but if you're getting plenty of water in, and you're getting tired easy and getting dizzy easy, I would talk to your doctor about it and get a blood test. So I know people don't like to get the needle, but it can have long-term consequences for you. You could end up actually in the hospital getting a blood transfusion if it gets so bad, and that's really what you don't want to do. I've had a lot of patients that come into my ER and they're so anemic that we have to literally give them blood from our blood bank. So you don't want it to get to that point. And if you catch it early and start taking an iron supplement, then chances are it won't get there. But you can also eat lots of iron-rich foods in the meantime too. You can do both. Absolutely. If you're prone to it and you're diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia, eat all of the good nutrients and all of the iron-rich foods and take a supplement if your doctor recommends it. But if you're having those symptoms, go talk to your doctor, go get a blood test.
Okay.
I have a question actually based off of that. So with what we're dealing with right now, you know, we don't want to be going out, and like people probably don't want to be going to the hospital, right, Ashleigh? So like during this time, should she just be like trying to load up on as many iron-rich foods as possible and then like go in when hopefully things are better? Like, what's your suggestion on that?
I would call her doctor and ask and give them her symptoms. A lot of, I'm working in a pediatric office right now, and we're not letting any sick children come in at all. So the only children we're seeing are children who are coming in for their annual visits. So they're taking a lot of precautions in medical offices right now. So I would call the doctor. He could possibly order it over the phone. And you could just get the lab slip and just go straight to the lab and don't even really have to like go into the doctor for a long period of time. So but I would call her pediatrician or her doctor and ask them what precautions they're taking and if maybe this is something they could handle over the phone and just order the blood test from their office. But that's something you want to check out. If you're getting up and you're getting dizzy, that's not something you want to just kind of wait, especially if you are prone to getting anemic. Because like I said, you could end up in the hospital, and it would be 10 times worse to end up in the hospital right now than to go and get a blood transfusion. I know a lot of the local hospitals around me have 30, 40 COVID patients right now in them. So that's where you definitely don't want to be, is in the hospital.
Yeah. Good question, Brooke.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions? We got a few more minutes. I'll give you guys some time to think if you guys wrote down any notes or just any fun random questions for the nurse that's on. No? Oh, you guys are so boring.
Hi. Are there any like bad teas that you should avoid other than like high sugar ones, or teas that you recommend other than green tea?
Any bad teas, you said?
Yeah.
So are you talking about like hot teas or like iced teas, something like refreshing and sweet, or what kind of teas exactly?
Like mainly like hot teas that you can boil water and put a tea bag in. And
No, if you're gonna drink hot tea, there's really nothing to avoid with that. If you are looking to get like extra nutrients from teas, I do know that the loose leaf teas, the ones that come in like whole leaves, they are a lot more nutritious because they're not ground up and broken and processed and put in the tea bags. So if you're looking to get like extra antioxidants and extra nutrients from teas, I know loose leaf teas are a really good way to go. They're a little more expensive, so you have to kind of weigh that, but they have a lot more nutritional value because they take the whole roots and leaves and all of the other components they use to make the tea, and they keep them whole. So loose leaf teas are a really great option. And you have to look on the nutrition label. Some of the loose leaf teas do add sugar to them. So it's best to stay away from ones that have added sugar. But tea is a really great way to get extra antioxidants and extra nutrients in. So that's a good question.
Thank you.
And caffeine, you think caffeine free is like the best way to be going with that too, right?
Well, I mean, like green tea has a lot of caffeine in it. You have to weigh it with your tolerance to caffeine and how much caffeine if you're already drinking like energy drinks or something like that, or things with caffeine. Definitely not. But a lot of them have caffeine naturally, but tea doesn't have a lot of caffeine in it. Tea has very small amounts, except for green tea. I know green tea kind of has a lot of caffeine, but there's so many nutrients in green tea that I don't know that, unless they're just drinking and chugging tons of it. I wouldn't drink like caffeine teas before bedtime, that's for sure. Just because you may be sensitive to that and it may affect your sleep.
Yep. Well, good question. Anybody else before we hop off? Some of you guys are like, I'm trying to hop off right now. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. And Ashleigh, thank you for taking the time to hop back on and answer some questions. Make sure that you guys are staying on top of it with drinking your water. Nia, I love that you have your whiteboard up there and you're like marking it off like, boom, I'm done. I drank 120 ounces today. That's really, really good. So make sure you guys are keeping that up and making those small little changes to your diet. Every time that we hop on, I'd love to hear from a few of you guys about some of the changes that you're making, or maybe some of the things that you're feeling like I'm having a hard time with this. Like, let's start to talk about this stuff and like really get together as a unit and help one another out. 'Cause this stuff it's important. Okay. If you guys hopefully everybody was taking notes on that presentation, 'cause there's some really good stuff in there that we need to start implementing into our daily routine. Yeah. Yeah, coach. Totally. Okay, cool. All right. Ashleigh, did you want to add anything before?
No, just like I said, with our last call, if anybody has any questions about anything, I'll put my email in the chat box. Even if it's just questions about being a nurse or going to nursing school or anything like that, you guys can ask me any questions at all. So there's my email.
Because we have some seniors on the call, and I know that there were some girls on my team. I don't think Emily's on here right now, but she wanted to be a nurse. So if any of you guys are wanting to go down that route, Ashleigh is your person to talk to.
Yes, it's a great profession. You can't go wrong with nursing. So
cool. All right, you guys, we will see you next week. And yeah, have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, girls.